Mike Collis, Chris Morris.
Where were you born?
I was born at Kasabonika, Picture Lake,
When were you born?
April 15, 1953.
How long have you lived in this community?
Since 1980.
What was your childhood like?
What's that?
What was your childhood like?
My childhood?
Mm-hmm.
I was taken to my father's trap line quite a bit when I was young, and then school caught up with me.
What kind of things can you tell me about your life when you were young?
When I was young, our family used to go out. It's called Sherman Lake, way up near the Manitoba border. I'm talking about my grandfather, and our grandmother was gone, but all of our uncles, our aunts, their families, my cousins, lots of people used to go there every fall until Christmas time, and then we would come back and spend the rest of the year in Victoria Lake.
What did you eat?
What did I eat? Mostly rabbit and partridge and beaver, moose, caribou, geese, whatever our parents could find.
Who cooked the meals in your family?
Most of all was our mother.
Did you go to residential school?
Yes,
Where?
1963, 1964. I was nine years old.
Where did you go to school?
For residential school, Cecile Jeffrey Residential School in Kenora.
What do you remember about your parents and grandparents?
For my grandparents, his name was, my grandfather's name on my father's side was David Morris. My grandmother was Jemima Morris Hudson, and on my mother's side was Jeannie and Geordie Wennaby Tonga.
What are your best memories?
My best memories are just being a boy that didn't have to worry about too much.
How has this community changed since you were here?
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I came here in 1976 the first time when the chief, whose name is named after the school, Chief Stephen McKay, asked me to come and work for him when Kasabonika got banned in reserve status. But we didn't have no band office, no staff, no money at that time. And then I went away for about 7 years in 1980, and then came back in 1987, I think. And I've been working ever since. I helped get the money for this place and most of the stuff we see in this community.
Did you have a nickname growing up?
I think they always called me Chief. They don't do that no more.
What is your earliest memory?
My earliest memory is actually being in a dog sled, going across the lake at Victoria Lake. I don't know where my dad and mother were taking me, but I was in a dog sled. It's the best thing I remember.
Can you tell me about your family?
My family? My family is my family, what I know about them is I have a brother here, Gordon, and a sister, Ida, and we have two brothers in Victoria Lake, Elias and Bill, and we got two sisters over there, Joan and Kathy. Our mother is gone. Our younger brother and older sister are gone. Our father is gone too. But I remember my grandfather, David Morris, and believe it or not, my great-grandfather was Paul Morris, not the one that drives the soda truck here, but his name was, my great-grandfather was Paul Morris, and he lived around this area.
How many children or grandchildren do you have?
I lost count of my grandchildren, but I have 4 sons and 2 boys. I think I have about, last count was 17 grandchildren. I got 1 great grandson in Webberclay.
How often do you see them?
Some of the grandsons I see every day. They come and sleep at our house, but I never see my great grandson that much. My granddaughters I see off and on when they come and ask for money and sweets.
Do you remember any stories or songs from the community?
What's that?
Do you remember any stories or songs?
One of the stories I hear is back in 1963. Some people call it was forced, but according to what some of the elders have told me, there were 3 wise men that came from the old community over there to here, Sammy Albany and Paul Morris and Seaman McKay, and they came and looked at this island and they see it was good and we could live here. So that's one of the stories that I have about this community.
Do you have any memories that you want to share with me?
Any memories? I'll give you one, and it's something that I want you people to understand. That you know, when I was growing up in Big Trout Lake, there was one spot that our grandfathers used to tell me is very important. I didn't know what they meant, but now I know what they mean. If you go to Big Trout Lake, it's where the nursing station is, and if you go a little further east, there's going to be a little monument there, and that monument specifies the spot where our grandfathers in July 5, 1929 signed the James Bay Treaty, Treaty 9. My grandfather on my mother's side, George Iwan Bitonga, was one of the signers of that treaty. So that is very important to us because our education, our treaty right to education is what he got for us. And for all of us that are here, we have this school building. He wanted this school building for us. He wanted us to have teachers that we have standing over there. He wanted us to have things that teachers can work with to teach us and for us to learn with. So we can say thank you to our grandfathers for getting us that treaty right to education. That's very important for me because I didn't know that when I was growing up, but my uncles made sure I learned.
What are the most important lessons you've learned in life?
What are the most important lessons?
Mm-hmm.
I am very glad to say that there was an old lady that used to live here, actually Norman's grandmother. Her name was Martine Morris, and I used to drink at that time, but then I stopped drinking, and then she would. We didn't have cell phones at that time. We used to have those old phones, the landlines, I guess they're called, and you had to hold the phone to your ear to listen. But she made sure that when I came home, that when she heard that I was home, she would call me up and talk to me from the Bible, teach me about the Bible, and sometimes this went on for 3 hours. I'd be hanging on the phone listening to that old lady talk to me about the Bible. But one of the most important things she told me is that there is Jesus, that I have to say that I belong to Him, and that there is the 10 Commandments. And in those 10 Commandments, I will just name a couple of them. One is, thou shalt not steal. You never take anything that doesn't belong to you. You have to work and earn everything that you get. That's one of the most important lessons that I've learned. That I don't take anything that I haven't paid for myself. I don't take anything that belongs to anybody else because they might need it for their family. And always remember that I can't steal anything. So it's very important for people to know that.
How did you meet your spouse?
Actually, I was just driving down the street in Thunder Bay.
So romantic. What job did you do?
When I finished high school in 1973, I wanted to have a simple job, just to be a carpenter, or work 9 to 5, drive nails, be told what to do, and I do it. I didn't want to think about anything, but my uncles had different ideas. I guess they saw something in me that I didn't see. So I used my education for the work that I do. I finished grade 12. I have some university, I have some college, and the rest I teach myself. And I pretty well know a little bit of everything. And right now, I'm one of your leaders. I'm on the council, and I have education, housing, and governance in my portfolio. So that's the work that I do.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.